Hello everyone and welcome back to our second sessions for today. For the first session, it seemed like a little bit long video lesson. However, I hope you really learned something from that video, which is the talk about cause and effects. Now, let's move on to another subject, which is writing breakthrough. The book Writing Breakthrough is the book that helps you to master your sentence structure. Mostly, you focus on the grammatical rule um, about the language. However, from the previous video, I share with you the step or the process of writing. And do you still remember all of those? It seems like this is a general idea of the writing process. And in this video, I will share with some of you techniques which you will use before you start your writing. This technique will be very helpful for you in the future when you get to the university or you study in a higher level. Writing is very common. So make sure you're familiar with all these techniques. So what are those techniques, everyone? So before we move on to that techniques, do you think writing is important? In everyday life, everyone is writing. Writing play an important role in your life. You need to write a message, you need to write a letter, you need to write something. If you are very good at writing, you might write a journal, you might write about your everyday activities. So writing is important, but to master an academic writing, which is a little bit difficult, it takes time and it takes practice, it takes patience and a lot more time to master your academic writings. So academic writing is supposed to be structural, formal, and informative. However, the informal writing is not very complicated as those. But for you as an English learner, as a student, you need to write an academic paragraph. Make sure your writing is good, is structured, is well organized. So to help you develop your good writings, you need to know how to start writings. So in the video lesson today, I would like to share with all of you how you brainstorm your idea. As you already know, brainstorm, which is the second step of your writing. So the first step, you need to choose the topics. The second step is to gather the idea, the information, and then organize those information and start your first draft, review it, and rewrite the second draft, and then edit, proofread it, and make it the final draft. And you can repeat the circle again and again to improve and to master your writing skill. But in this video, we focus on the step 2, which is to gather information and to gather idea. How can you get more idea about the topics? So there are 3 types of brainstorming, which is the techniques that will help you generate more and more idea to make your idea flow in your writings. So the first one is to make a list, and the second one is free writing, and the last one is mappings. So what are all of these techniques and how to use this technique? So let's look at the next slide. So to make a list, you just write down single words, phrases or sentences that are connected to your topic. You just make a bullet point, which is something like this one. So if you look at the topic, why should I study at university? You just note down a point. The first here, they talk about the subject, the history, math, and what you will get from the history. So you just note down a few important points to help you develop another idea. So what job do I want later? You can ask questions in your note to make your idea flow if you can answer this question. And in this note, you can cross it out, you can delete it, but the problem is you need to get more and more idea. The more idea, the more information you get, the better you will be able to write. So this is how you can start your writing. Just make a note which is very simple, a bullet point. And the second strategy or the second technique, which is free writing, it's similar to the first draft, but this one you need to write whatever come into your head about your topics without stopping. So just write it down. When you see the topic, don't think too much about it. Just write what you can think of. Write it down. And in this technique, you will practice not quite long because it will be boring. You might stuck somewhere. So the suggested time is around 5 to 10 minutes only. Why you need to do this free writing? The more you practice, the more fluency you will get. When you see the topics, you start writing immediately and improve it later. You will develop the fluency habit, which is you get the idea flow automatically when you need informations. So here is the free writing sample. As you can see, in these writings, there are the student just cross out some of the word. As you can see, there are two. So she doesn't think it is good to use the word to. She just cross it out and change to the word so. So if you look at here, if you make mistakes, the writer here make mistake, she just cross it out and continue writing without thinking too much about spelling, without thinking about the grammatical structures. The reason behind this is one thought. When you have one idea and you start to write, and it can lead to another idea, you get more information, which I call the flow of idea. When you just start writing without caring about mistakes, without thinking about the spelling, you just write it down. So your idea will flow. And you can get more and more idea from this. However, some of the details here that are not exactly about the topic. If you look at this part, looking toward to meet new friend, which is not relevant to what the writing is. The writing is about the subject to choose when studying at the university. But looking toward meeting new friends is not related. But in this free writing, we don't care about the structure, we don't care about the language use, but we care about the flow of idea. As long as you get your idea, as long as you have idea to write it down, because it is the first step, and the more idea you have, the better you will be able to write. So this is the second techniques that you can use to start your writing. And the last technique, which is one of the very popular one, we call it mind mapping or mappings. So what is this? Techniques is to show the connections, and it is easy to get more idea. Mostly, if you are writing about the cause and effects of something, the mind mapping technique will be very beneficial. So if you look at this diagram, you can see the connection between one's points to another. Is much more better than to do the list, because doing mapping can give you a chance to connect one information to another. So the topic is, what should I study? And the writer note down 3 important points. The first one is favorite subject, at least favorite subject, and good subject for job. So this is the 3 reasons that the writer start. And then you need to give more idea about this. What is the favorite subject? History, English, or art? And then you break down history. What you will learn about? You learn about the past. What is the advantages or disadvantages of these subjects? so on and so forth. So if you practice mind mapping, you will see a better connection between one information to another point. So mind mapping is a good way that you can use to brainstorm, because you can allow your idea to flow and you can see the connections in your map. So everyone, after you learn the three strategies, the question is, what is the best method to get more idea? So my answer is no best method there. All of the method that I present to you work differently, and it works with different type of person. Some people they prefer to do the list. Some people they prefer to start writing immediately and make correction later on. Some people prefer mind mappings because they can see a better connection. But it depends on you. So what you need to do is to practice all the method. For example, this topic you can practice listing, and the other topic you practice mind mappings, and another type of topic you practice free writings, and then observe and reflect which one is the best method for you, which one that allow you to get more idea, and then adopt those methods. For me personally, I prefer the mind mappings because I can see the connection between one idea to another idea, and I can link with those. I can link those ideas together in my writing pretty well. So it depending on you. So everyone, now you have learned to do the brainstorming, which is the pre-writing activities. I hope that this lesson or these three strategy or three techniques will be able to help you a lot in your writings. So everyone, now it's time to say goodbye and enjoy your 2-day holidays. And good luck everyone, stay safe at home.